Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of FTOPS 8 Final Table Highlights. I'm Ali Najad and today it's time for event number 9, the No Limit Hold'em $300 buy-in hosted by Gus Hansen. Over 5,000 players were in the field, bringing the prize pool to over $1.5 million. First place would be taking home a healthy sum, $263,438. 6 players came into the final table with over $1 million in chips, but it was Flaxmars with over $5.5 million who had his eyes squarely on the prize. Poppy Chulo 777, Highberry 90, and Pocket 5 were all in bad shape with the blinds at $30,000 and $60,000. Each player would ante up $7,500 as we pick up the final table action. It was folded around to Pocket 5, who had $228,000 in change in front of him and needed to double up desperately. He would shove it all in, and Poppy Chulo 777, with 15 seconds left to act, would eventually request time. He would settle on a fold, and the action was on the almost $3 million stack of MK376. He would just call from the button. Both blinds would lay down, and MK and Pocket 5 would be heads up. Pocket 5 had Ace-9 offsuit. MK had called with 6-7 offsuit. Both players flopped a piece, 9s for Pocket 5, 6s for MK with a gut shot. Neither player would improve, and Pocket 5 would double up after MK's liberal pre-flop call. Button moved around to NFA 1080. Highberry 90 was in the small. XQ Says was in the big blind. It was folded all the way around to the button, where NFA would eventually make it $155,000 to go. Threw a bit of a stall tactic in there before doing so. And when the action came over to Highberry in the small blind, he would ship it all in for over $400,000. XQ's fairly deep stack would lay down in the big blind, and NFA would make the call, showing Ace-Queen against Ace-10. Highberry was dominated. Both players hit an ace on the turn, kings paired on the river, but NFA would win the pot with the better kicker, sending Highberry home in 9th place. NFA added a nice chunk to his stack as we pick up the action with him under the gun, blinds and the antes the same. He would again make it $155,000 to go. Action would get folded all the way back around to Poppy Chulo 777 in the small blind. He would decide to ship it all in for over $450,000. He'd get called, and once again NFA had his opponent dominated, this time Ace-King against Ace-Queen. Neither player would hit a pair, and NFA's Ace-King High would end up winning the pot, sending Poppy Chulo home in 8th place with $26,722. Our chip leader finally decided to get involved with the blinds up to 40 and 80 with a 10K ante. He would open the pot under the gun for a raise to $240,000. Pocket 5 and MK would fold, as would NFA and XQ Says. And when it got over to Lanolin in the small blind with $40,000 invested, he would ship it all in for almost $600K. Big blind folded, and Flax would make the easy call, in trouble up against 2 queens with 2 8s until the flop hit and Flax had made a set. The turn gave Lanolin a gut shot which came in on the river, and he escaped elimination, doubling up to $1.3 million in change. Blinds were up to $50,000 and $100,000. Antes had remained the same at $10,000. Action was folded around to XQ Says, who would put in a fairly small raise to $220,000. As is generally the case in these situations with so much on the line, players don't act very quickly when deciding to make a raise or a call. Action was folded around to Pocket 5 in the big blind, who had $120,000 to call. He would do so, and when the flop came Queen 9-5 Rainbow, he would ship it all in, showing King Jack for a gut shot. XQ had made the call with Ace-King High. Running 6s hit the turn and the river, and XQ would eliminate Pocket 5 in 7th place. Pocket would take home $35,121. So our final table was officially short-handed. Blinds and the antes remained the same. MK376 was under the gun and first to act. He would fold over to NFA 1080, sitting on over $2 million in chips. NFA would eventually make it $250,000 to go, 2.5 times the big blind. That was enough to put Lonelin all in. As he made the call on the button, both blinds would fold, and it was ace-9 against queen-10. NFA flopped the gut shot and turned a pair, but of course Lonelin made the jack-high straight. NFA was drawing dead, and Lonelin would double up to over $600,000. The grudge match between the Angry Shark and the Doberman wasn't over yet. With XQ says on the button, action was folded around to NFA, who would again make it $250,000 to go. And in a recurring theme, after XQ says folded the button, Lonelin would ship it all in. JBS was out of the way, and it was NFA who called with pocket queens. Lonelin showed king 10 off suit, didn't hit the flop, the turn, or the river, and would say goodbye in 6th place, taking home $45,000. Blinds were up to $60,000 and $120,000 with a $15,000 ante. Action folded around to MK376, who made it $360,000 to go. NFA would fold. XQ says from the small blind would push all in for $1.3 million. JBS would lay down. MK would call and show ace-9. He was dominated by XQ's ace-queen of hearts. XQ flopped top pair, and on the turn, MK was drawing dead. XQ doubled up to almost $3 million with a pair of queens. Not to be discouraged by the previous pot, MK376 would again raise from under the gun this time, making it $360,000 to go, triple the big blind. It was folded around to the small blind, JBS 07. He would ship it all in for over $1.4 million. Flax would lay down. MK would make the call and show pocket jacks. He had JBS in bad shape with pocket 7s. No help on the flop, the turn, or the river, and it was JBS's turn to bow out, taking home $60,000 for his day's effort. Down to four-handed action, our chip leader Flaxmars decided to get involved. He would raise under the gun to $320,000. MK would fold on the button, and when it got to NFA, he would ship it all in for over $1.3. XQ mucked the big blind. Flax would call and show ace-5 up against pocket 4s, and when the flop brought a 5, Flax was out in the lead. NFA could not hit a 2-outer on the turn or the river, and he would be sent home in 4th place with $80,000 in his pocket. The All-In Festival showed no signs of slowing down with 3 players left. MK376 would make it $360,000 to go on the button. XQ would then ship it all in for over $1.8 million. Flaxmars would duck out of the way. MK would call and show ace-6 off suit. XQ had king-queen off. Ace-high was in good shape on the flop and on the turn. XQ couldn't hit a jack-queen or a king on the end, and he would be eliminated in 3rd place, earning over $100,000. On the very next hand, heads-up play began with Flaxmars making it $400,000 to go on the button. Action on MK, who would then re-raise to $1.1 million. Flaxmars said, "Let's play for the full amount right here and now," as he shipped it all in. MK would call and show king 9 of spades in terrible shape against Flaxmars ace-9. MK would flop the gut shot but couldn't complete it or spike a king, and he would take the silver medal, earning almost $160,000, while Flaxmars would make over $263K. Here's a look at the rest of the payouts, including 3 6-figure paydays, 4th through 9th all taking home 5 figures apiece. Don't forget the $500 No Limit Hold'em main event happens May 18th, hosted by Jennifer Harmon. If you'd like to qualify for that or any of our other remaining FTOPS 8 events, simply go to Full Tilt Poker, click the Tournament tab, and then the Satellites tab. If you'd like to hang out with yours truly, click the Mixed Games tab and scroll down to the A16 horse table titled Ali Nejad. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Final Table Highlights for FTOPS 8. Until next time, this is Ali Nejad saying so long.